Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Market Today, our last half an hour round for Friday's close as also the weekly close on Dalal Street begins. The Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, is up 47 points, 22,600 thereabouts. This is an exciting day for the Nifty. For the last three sessions, the index has risen consistently from an 8-month low. Is it because of value buying? Is it because of short covering? Is it because of bottom fishing? Only time will tell, but it's time to rejoice. The index has reversed from a low of 21,960 or so to about 22,600. So it's a nice 600 point, 680 point rally that has happened in the last three sessions. But what we'll do is pause for a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and take a deep breath. This 17% correction on the Nifty from an all-time high of about 26,200 over the last 5 months has been a very painful journey for investors who came in the last 1 or 2 years. The falls on the Nifty and the Nifty mid-cap index and the small-cap index have been much larger, much deeper, to the extent of about 25 to 26% in the same 5-month time period. What's worse, many stocks, whether they are frontline PSUs or defense counters or the erstwhile momentum counters, they have corrected even more sharply, anywhere between 35 to 50%. All told, there is pain all around, and a lot of people, especially newcomers, are losing focus and are of course looking at reasons thereof. Whatever reasons that might be: overvaluation, Mr. Trump's entry into the United States, a tariff war globally. This undoubtedly is an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to buy quality assets and buy them in a very simple fashion using systematic investment plan. Over the last 1 week or so, we've been highlighting quality funds where those who are first timers, those who are existing players can put in fresh money and enjoy a bounce maybe 1 year later, buy a quality asset available about 20-25% from its all-time high, and then ride the rally through systematic investment plans. In this, ladies and gentlemen, endeavor, we are now focusing on Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund. This is one of the most popular schemes that have been running over the last 10 years or so. It has created a fantastic return base for its investors, and over a 10-11 period compounded somewhere like 19-18% in the last decade or so. I'll put it very simply: if you had invested a monthly SIP amount of 10,000 rupees over the last 11 years, all told, you would have given Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund 13,20,000 rupees, and that would have compounded to 41,52,000 rupees. Let's get deeper into this particular fund. What you see in front of you are some data that our team has collected. It has a net asset value for the direct route at 83.86. The fund was launched in May 2013 and is now one of the most popular schemes, like I have said, having an unenviable assets under management of about 89,700 crores. The fund manager has compounded the corpus at 19.76% over the last 11 years, and Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund invests in 63 stocks so far. Now, why do we prefer a Flexi Cap Fund at this point of time? The name itself gives you an understanding. According to SEBI norms, Flexi Cap Fund managers can invest anywhere. They are not constrained by market capitalization. They are not constrained by geography. In fact, the reason why Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund is so popular is that it invested globally at a time 3-4 years ago when the Nasdaq investing was not so popular. Amongst its top 5 picks at that point of time were companies such as Google, companies such as Facebook, companies such as Microsoft, so on and so forth. Even now, amongst the top 15 stocks, Google, Meta, which is Facebook, Alphabet, which is again Google, and of course Amazon find mention. Now let's dig a little deeper. The price to earnings of the total portfolio of Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund, despite such growth and momentum, is still below the Nifty PE. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a salute to the fund manager who runs this, because he is catching growth, he is catching momentum, and yet keeping the PE of the fund, the average PE of the fund, of the portfolio, at a substantially sensible level compared with the Nifty. As I have said, the major holdings are HDFC Bank, Bajaj Holdings, Power Grid, Coal India, ITC, ICICI Bank and Kotak Bank, Maruti, and then come the global holdings. Meta, which is Facebook, Alphabet, which is Google, and of course you have Amazon as well. Now let's look at the returns from a sensible point of view. If you look at the 10-year performance, Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Direct Fund has appreciated 17%. It's handsomely beaten the Flexi Cap category and the BSE 500, and out of 34 funds who have a 10-year history, the fund Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund ranks first. In fact, when you look at the 7-year return, it's first out of 39 funds. If you look at the 5-year return of an average compounding of 26%, Parag Parikh Flexi Cap ranks second, and more importantly, in the year-to-date performance, it's first. In the 3 months performance, it's first, and in the 6-month performance, it's first. It's very simply saying that when the market falls rapidly, Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund falls less. When the market rises, Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund rises even more dramatically. So it outperforms a bull market, and it also outperforms a bear market by falling less. So these are the qualities, ladies and gentlemen, that one needs to create long-term value in. This is a very, very sensible fund if you are looking to invest in India's growing future. It invests across categories, whether they are large caps, mid caps, small caps, or global, and at the same time it keeps the value investing funda in its heart. So this is something that you can get into in a systematically investment plan, put in a lump sum if you wish to, and of course put in a monthly SIP as well. Again, we are providing you with investment opportunities and investment ideas. This is not an invitation to buy or sell them. Should you wish to get into it, you need to consult an independent mutual fund advisor and then proceed forward. As usual, I have no trading position or investment position in Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund. So this is something along with ICICI Prudential Equity and Debt Fund that you can consider. And of course, it's a wonderful vehicle for all those people who want to make an entry at this point of time in the market. So please keep an eye over the weekend, study it, and then get into this. If you like it, again, consult an independent financial advisor. We'll get back to the markets, ladies and gentlemen. The Nifty has now crossed 22,600. This is a wonderful, wonderful performance, especially when you look at the fact that from the intraday low of I think it was 22,000. 22,470. So from 470, it's now moved up to 600. That's an easy 130 point uptick from the intraday low, of course in positive territory at this point of time. The Nifty Bank is flat, down 50 points. IT index is showing about 300 point profit booking, and it's not the only index, Nifty, that I'm talking about, which is fluttering in the gains. The broader market sentiment is really, really good. If you look at the advanced decline ratio, it's held not only since morning, but it's held over the last 3 days, favoring bulls in a lot of parts. On the National Stock Exchange, 1,750 shares are in the green, compared with 700 that are in the red. So it's an easy 2.5:1, which essentially means that for every 2 stocks that are falling, there are 5 that have gained ground. We track 19 indices for you. Out of 19, 12 are in the green. The small cap index is amongst the top gainers, 1% higher. The Mid cap index is flat, but sectorally you are seeing a strong move coming into the metal space, the Nifty Auto Index, and of course the Nifty Energy Index. In terms of top traded counters, well, today it's the day for big boys. Reliance is leading the rally on the Nifty, up 3.4% at 1250. About 1700 crores worth of transactions have happened. You have a very, very strong move coming into metal counters, Tata Steel. But mid caps dominate top trading counters. You have Data Patterns 12% higher. You have Masgaon 4% higher. Inox Wind 12% higher. And Triveni Turbine adding about 11%. Strong moves coming into Amber Enterprises, Garden Reach, Suzlon. So there is this renewable theme that has come in, and of course the broader markets are also doing pretty well. We'll also take a detour into the F&O space. I'd like to point out other winners in the Nifty. It's BEL 1.7% higher, Bajaj Auto adding 1.6%, Nestle is adding 1.6%, Hindalco is adding 1.4%. Amongst the losers side, it's NTPC, IndusInd Bank, Shriram Finance, Infosys, and HCL Tech. Let's sort of go deeper into the F&O space and look at winners beyond the Nifty. Well, it's the railway space. Titagarh Wagons shot up 6%. IRFC is up 4.4%. Apollo Tyres is adding 2.8%, and SRF is up 2.6%. Shortly, we'll be joined by Mr. Brijesh L., Head Technical and Derivatives Research at IDBI Capital Markets and Securities. I think Brijesh ji is with us. Namaste Brijesh ji, a very warm welcome. A bit of a smile will always help. 3 days of gains after a terrible start to March, and of course February was terrible. How are you reading sentiment on Dalal Street, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. So basically, as you said, like we have taken support for the last 3 days, and today at the start of the day, there was some pressure because of the global market, but then somehow the index closing about 22,500 is giving some comfort. So I believe that we should be seeing the extension of this move, and most likely 22,800 and gradually 23,000. So this should be the continuation of the trend which we should see in the next coming week. So 23 is a key level to keep a watch on. If we sustain and have a further momentum, then we can say that whatever the low we saw in during this week, 21,000, 20, close to 22,000, 21,954, that may then act as a short-term bottom, or maybe like 23,000 will act as a resistance. So let's keep a watch on it. Right now we can speak of another 500 odd points kind of a rally on the higher side. So bias will stay positive. Maybe a smaller correction of 100, 150 points should be viewed as again a re-enter of like a buying opportunity. So view should remain positive is what I feel.
Okay. Brijesh ji, we've seen 3 days of an uptick, and of course for the first time probably in 4 weeks we'll have a positive weekly close as well. Do you think for the time being the worst is behind after the Nifty's tested an 8-month low?
Yeah, maybe like, yeah, 50-50, we should be taking that call. But yes, we should not ignore saying that he was maybe behind. Maybe there is a very less probability that 21,954, the low will get break. So eventually it doesn't look like, because the put writers have now shifted their position from the level of 22,000 to 22,400 level. They're slowly shifting on the higher side. So more or less, if there even, that is why I said, even if there is a small correction of 100, 150 points, that can be an opportunity to take the long bets. Because on the way up, 23,000 is something which I'm looking into right now. If it sustains and closes, then we take a further view. But right now, we can bet for 23,000.
Okay, fair point. Amongst the shares or stock futures that you like at current levels, is there a BTST call or an STBT call that you are advising your clients? I hope we don't start Monday on a back foot, given the things that are happening in the US. But what is your estimate for Monday? Do you think we'll open in positive territory? If yes, how? And any stock futures that you might want to carry from today?
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of stocks which are looking positive. For example, if you just check the status of the Apollo Tire, it is extremely looking positive from the daily and the weekly perspective, and the position is also getting shifted towards the 420, 425 level. So definitely that if you somebody wants to take the BTS bet, then definitely this Apollo Tire is one option. Then today specifically, SRF was one stock which was up by close to 3%, and it has given us some kind of a range breakout. So definitely that can be one place where again the opportunity is there. Followed by this, I am liking from the trading perspective. I am liking this paint stocks like Berger Paints and the Asian Paints. So Berger is one stock which I think has given a very strong breakout. I think this breakout should sustain. Maybe from this 500 level we can see maybe not the BTST, but then at least 550 what I can see for the next week on the Berger Paint. So there are many bets, but then these are the specific which we can trade.
Okay, fair point. This is an interesting stock that you mentioned, ladies and gentlemen. SRF has been over the last 2 months or so one of those rare outperformers in the market that has actually risen very sharply. From 9th January, it was at about 2300, and then it's just shot up to about 2985 in a span of less than a month. And then, of course, February was painful, but the rally has resumed. 2972 is an all-time high. Let's see whether it goes past over that, but very, very strong move coming in today. 3% higher, and of course the volume is also fantastic. About 12.5 lakh shares have been traded on SRF in cash on NSE. At this stage, Brijesh ji, would you want to comment on Reliance Industries also? Although it's risen very, very sharply, but we have a 52-week low on RIL. This price was last seen in 13th November 2023. Is the worst over for RIL, or do we still have pain in the offing?
So if I take it from the charts point of view, yes, it looks like yeah, today's the candlestick pattern is quite a strong positive. So one should not ignore it. And whereas maybe at 1250 we can easily talk of another 50 point momentum for the next one or two trading sessions. So definitely the positions in the even from the derivatives point of view, there eventually at the start of the month at 1300 there were a lot of call writers were having the positions, but then somehow they have shifted their positions, which makes us believe that at least on 1250 we can easily see another 50 points rally in the Reliance. So structurally and even from the oscillators and the moving average, whatever the technicals we follow, this the formation is quite a big strong. So even if there is a small breather in Monday session, for example, then follow through buying can be seen. So the view will be positive. As of now, we'll speak of close to 1300 levels for the Reliance. So it looks like a short-term bottom is done. And maybe if it sustains and if it keeps moving up, then eventually this can also pull up the market. And what I'm looking for the Nifty close to 23,000. So this can be one of the big contributors to that.
Okay. I'll also like to point out to viewers that the renewable energy space is doing excellently well today. Is that a dead cat bounce? Only time will tell. But I'll request Brijesh ji to look at Inox Wind. 11% higher, and heavy volumes of about almost 46 lakh shares right in front of us. 46 lakh shares means that it is 10 times the 5-day average, and of course this is a massive breakout. Brijesh ji, at 170, and I think the stock was at 240, 245 as an all-time high. Is the correction enough? Is this the start of a new rally in Inox Wind?
Yes, we can be sure. There are two specific reasons. One is, if I'm looking at the weekly time frame, and during the month of Jan, 27 Jan, there was a very strong bullish candle formation, and then eventually that saw the sideways consolidation. And again, on this current week closing, again the buying has follow through buying has been seen. So I expect this breakout. So 175 is a trigger price. So maybe there is no necessity to wait for that 175 to be taken out. But then I think above 175, this will see the good amount of upside, and that upside can be somewhere close to 210, 215 level. So that can be a kind of a positional bet if somebody wants to play, and somebody who's already having a position should like to look to add few more quantities, because another 50 points more, close to 220, 220, 225 mark is very much possible. It may take some 4 to 5 kind of a week, kind of a time frame, but that opportunity is there, mainly because of the volumes which has come in the current week.
Okay, fair point. Please also look at the financials of Inox Wind. Despite the correction from 240 to 170, Inox Wind is still at a PE of dangerously high 72.8. Price to book is still 8 times. So be very cautious. Market capitalization at about 22,400 crores, and revenue is 2,800 crore rupees for the last 12 months. It's a very strong profit making company. Earnings in the last 12 months have been 308 crores. Debt is fairly substantial. 3,200 crores is the debt level, and cash on the books is 805 crores. 312. Anything, Brijesh, you've observed in markets today that you would like to share with our viewers in terms of any sectoral breakouts or breakdowns that you're observing, any trends, any thoughts on advanced decline ratio?
Sir, see, when the Nifty is rallying, there is a very cautious approach on the Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty is something which is not performing, and eventually the Bank Nifty is down almost 100 points. And the level of 48,000 is a very crucial level. So I may be wrong, but then I would like to notice this. Eventually, a few days before, the Nifty was at 22,800 level, and then when we saw that supports being broken, the Nifty almost came close to 1,000 points from those points. And that exactly 22,800 matches with the 48,000 for the Bank Nifty. So by any chance, if next week, if I don't believe that as of now, I don't understand that will happen. But one has to be very closely watching the Bank Nifty, because Bank Nifty, the positions are getting very like it's not playing out its role. So Bank Nifty is very conservative, and it looks like if by any chance 48,000 is broken, there can be damage in Bank Nifty. So this is what I have to be extremely cautious. Bank Nifty is something which is not contributing, and IT as a sector is not contributing. So this was the major observation. Both being a large chunk of the momentum, if those two sectors doesn't contribute, so for Nifty it becomes little bit of kind of a difficult stance to make an attempt towards the 20. I do agree the oil and gas is something which is moving up, but then Bank Nifty I am having a cautious view, because 48,000 is a kind of a make and break level as of now.
Okay, let me just draw down on the trend in the market. Remember, for the last 7 sessions, for the last 3 sessions, we've seen the Nifty as being positive, but there are several stocks where futures are showing a very interesting trend. I'll request the PCR to kindly please mark the chart of Hindalco on the screen. Remember, metals, when we last spoke to a very well-known fund manager yesterday, they were supposed to be the dark horse for 2025. Look at Hindalco. The counter has bounced very sharply, and for 7 successive trading sessions, it's in the green. A view on Hindalco from these levels, Brijesh ji, what are the charts telling you? It's not too far away from its all-time high, which was 773. We are almost at 691. So maybe a 10% is all that it is down from.
So maybe from a trader perspective, if somebody is already long in the position, I would advise that at 700 there is a lot of put writers, sorry, a lot of call writers are active. There's aggressive short positions. Call writing is being seen at 700. So it's a slightly cautious view. From the trading perspective, somebody is having a position, please try to book few quantities, or maybe like to exit a few, because see, the rally started all the way from the mid of Feb, and this rally is from the level of of 600, now we are approaching almost at 700. Since and there is no change in data, so the data still suggests that at the level of 700, there is a call writers are active. This is the highest open interest which I can see right now at 700, and there is no shift in position. So I think maybe from a trading perspective, there can be some profit booking in Hindalco. Maybe from the long-term perspective, it may look good. But then from the trading perspective, it is advisable to take some profits and then just wait for re-entering at whenever there is a small correction.
Okay, two or three stocks that I'd like to mark because of a very, very strong build-up in open interest. Titagarh Wagons, 65% higher open interest. It's a rare occurrence. This is the kind of percentage that happens when stocks have corrected very, very substantially. Titagarh Wagons is also the top stock future on the long side today, 5.5% higher. So this is something worth watching. Is this a swing trade in the making towards an upside, Brijesh? Titagarh Wagons.
Understood, sir. It's a very, very difficult call. I do agree today there has been a long build-up in this particular space, but then I think most of the railway stocks were showing strength. But then Titagarh Wagon on its own, it's still in the downtrend. I'm purely talking from a technical point of view. But then some bounce can be there, and that to the bounce is to up to a very limited extent, maybe close to 800 or 830. That is the maximum bounce from the technical I can see. Let's see how these things pan out, but definitely yes, there has been a long build up in today's session, so that sustainability will be a question because it's a one day wonder kind of a thing. It's too early to say whether this bounce will sustain or maybe this long build up will stay or not. But data suggests maybe another 50-60 points can be there, not beyond that.
Okay, 318, we are just about 12 minutes away from today's close. A mild downtick that is coming at 22,540. But the last half an hour of trade on any index is taken as the average is taken as the closing price of the last half an hour. So most probably we'll have a positive close on the Nifty as well. Let's just dip a little deeper into where else do we see buyers only spaces which are on a strong uptick. I see Shakti Pumps 5% higher. I also see ITI Limited 5% higher at 267. These are early circuits that are coming in. Also look at maybe Orchid Pharma 968 there 5% higher. This is also a strong volume candidate. What's at no, I'd rather not mention this one on air, but these are looking good as far as prices are concerned. So these are the ones on the circuit as of now. Are there circuits on the selling side which I would like to point out? No, not really. These names we'll avoid mentioning on air. But sentiment is pretty good today. And is there any change in the volume? What could have been interesting is higher volumes. Reliance, which is the top traded counter on the NSE today, is just 1940 crores. Remember, good days, Reliance also trades 2400, 2500 crores. But today's top traded counter is Reliance. Let us also examine the FI number for today. That will come by 6 p.m. I'm quite certain this should be below 2000 crore rupees on a net sell. I hope it's substantially below, but such is the view that is coming into the market. Brijesh, would you want to comment on defense counters? Garden Reach is up 7%. Masgaon Dock in particular up 4.4%. And BEL, this is something that a lot of people have been very, very fortunate with. Any views here?
Yeah, I think definitely there is a momentum which is catching in this particular space. So that momentum is likely to sustain in the next coming week as well. Specifically, if you're looking at the Garden Reach sleeping, the 1390, the structure says that it can go back to somewhere close to 1500 level. So that opportunity is there. Still, it is in a downtrend. The averages are still favoring the down move, but then a bounce back trade or maybe some relief rally kind of a structure can be seen in the garden ridge. So maybe 1500, 1550 is what I can see on an immediate basis. Maybe this can be seen on the next week. Coming to bail is something which is showing strength. I somehow believe that bail, from the technical point of view, it has made a W kind of a pattern, and 290 is a small resistance, which is also the 200-day moving average. So my understanding is that if this 290 level is taken out in the next coming week, then this is going to trend into a positive trajectory, and then gradually this may be one of the outperformer in this space. So definitely this is a very strong candidate compared to GRSC and the Mazgaon dock. Even the structure for the Mazgaon dock is also very strong. I won't be surprised if we see Mazgaon dock going back to 2600, 2650 levels. So structure is very positive. It is again a momentum play. Only GRSC is in a downtrend. We are seeing some reversals, but then this opportunity is there. So maybe if there is, for example, if we see some kind of breather in the next week, that should be an opportunity to take the long bets. This 5-8% kind of a momentum trend can easily be seen in this space.
Okay, so remember, ladies and gentlemen, Mazgaon dock, there hasn't been a steep correction. This is a stock that has held out. Of course, prices have corrected from all-time highs, but this is a stock in the defense space that has held on to most of its gains. And yes, BEL, this is a stock that you must consult your financial advisor with. It's a portfolio stock, and from the defense space again. And as Brijesh ji points out, it's most likely to see interesting days on charts as well as also on work-wise as well. So these are the two stocks that caught my attention. 3:23. We still have 7 minutes left. Interestingly, data patterns. This is a stock which we don't discuss often, but a huge breakout today. And this is on very heavy volumes. The counters up 18%. And why is it up 18%? Well, only time will tell, but I want you to know that the all-time high for data patterns is 3,600 rupees. And yesterday's close was somewhere like below 1,500, right? Yeah, 1,424. So 18% uptick today. Again, like I said, some of the quality stocks have started to reverse and reverse very sharply. Any view that you would have here on data patterns, Brijesh ji?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think this is one stock which has almost confirmed the bottom of its recent correction. And this recovery looks like whatever the low the stock has seen, it is likely to be get respected. And in sooner or later, we should be heading for a bounce. 2150, 2200 is what I can see. So it's a big move. It can also be a positional bet for somebody who wants to take a fresh ideas in this. So the structure is extremely positive, and it has been followed by the volume. So it cannot be ignored. And today's bullish candlestick pattern is also something which is showing that there has been a fresh longs being added at this price. So one should definitely play this move, and maybe 2200, 2250 should be the next leg to where we should be watching this. So one of the very strong pattern. So.
Okay, now I must mention this very specifically. What you see in terms of weekly volume is higher than, it's the highest ever. The data patterns got listed in December of 2021, and that week's volume, I mean, remember, it's often said that the first day volume is a record for any stock, and it takes forever for that volume to be broken. But the first week volume should be even higher. So today's volume, today's weekly close on the volume is also a record on data patterns, and hold your breath, the stock has corrected 63% from its all-time high to its most recent low of somewhere like 1351, which we saw 2-3 days ago. So please keep data patterns in mind that this is a huge reversal that has come in, and it's taken out the 21 EMA, 5 EMA, 8 EMA at one shot, and this is something that you should be looking at. Please keep this as your weekend, how should I say, homework. Let me just check the PE of data pattern. Remember, this is also a defense stock, and what is really interesting is okay, peer comparison. Let me just open a different software. Sometimes, you know, the hard work that you do on crunching data works 1 week later, but it surely does. Just a moment, softwares take a lot of time to load these days. Okay, PE of 50, price to book of 6.4, market capitalization of almost 8,900 crores. It's a very strong profit making company. It's debt free. Earnings for the last 12 months was 178 crores on a top line of 500 crore rupees. Okay, median PE was 71, it is now at 50. Price to book median was 9.7, it's now 6.3. So bottom fishing happening, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep data patterns on your radar. If you do enter it, please consult a financial advisor. So far 327. Final comments to you, Brijesh ji, before we call it a day and call it a week. 11 points lower, 22,533.
Yes, sir. I think Nifty, even though it is slightly negative of some 11, 10 odd points, but the formation is quite strong from the weekly point of view. So this move, I believe the continuation of the trend will be there. And I stand to my word saying that maybe we should be seeing 23,000 in the next week.
Okay. Any thoughts that you would like to carry home? Any changes on BTST, STBT? Any new stocks that might have come up on your radar in the last 2 or 3 minutes?
Yes, sir. I think Manappuram is something which is again adding to the strength. So Manappuram can be kept on a watch list, and specifically Godrej CP is one stock which is again showing strength. So maybe from the BTST point of view, I think that Godrej CP can also be taken into consideration. And lastly, one more stock, that is UPL, which is again showing strength on the closing basis. So I think this can be kept on the watch list, and somebody wants to take that bet can take that.
Okay, 1 minute left. Thank you, Brijesh, and of course we'll keep the recommendations that you've made in mind. Have a nice evening, and of course a far better weekend. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We'll wrap the markets today, ladies and gentlemen, 22,536, 9 points lower. I'm fairly confident that the close, which is the weighted average for the last half an hour of trade, will be in positive territory. So this will be the fourth day of gains as far as Nifty is concerned. Sentiment is positive on Dalal Street for a change. We've seen terrible times for the last 3 weeks or so, and more importantly, above 22,500 for the first time in 4 weeks, the Nifty will have a positive weekly close versus 3 negative weeks. That itself is such a relief, and of course the closing will be much above 22,500. Now let us look at stocks that have outperformed. You will feel very happy knowing the names. The top 2 contributors are Reliance Industries and Tata Motors. 35 points by Reliance Industries, 3.8 points by Tata Motors, and let me just rephrase this. Yes, that's how it is. Reliance has contributed 35 points. Tata Motors 3.8 points. Kotak, Hindalco, Bajaj Auto roughly 3 points each. What's pulled the Nifty down? I won't be worried at all. Infosys, NTPC, ICICI Bank, HCL Tech, and IndusInd Bank. Overall, the market has closed in strong positive territory. You have the advanced decline ratio at 1,500 shares in the green versus almost 960 in the red. That's 1.5:1, roughly 3:2. For every 2 shares that have fallen, you have 3 that are up. Smart traders have booked profit They don't know what Mr. Trump will do overnight on Wall Street. And of course, you have the weekend. Of course, you have an overall bear market running. So whatever profit you've made, you want to capture it. So that's how markets have ended today, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of hope and a lot of expectations. The Nifty is closed in the green, 8 points higher, 22,552. Remember, this is the time to at least start dipping your small toes into the market. Make a small SIP of 2,000 rupees. Buy a good flexi cap fund. We've given you some options. Buy a good hybrid fund and dip your toe into this market, which has corrected fairly sharply, shows signs of bottoming out. It could be a dead cat bounce. We don't know. But of course, it's a good entry level, so to say. Thank you so much for your time. Please continue watching Business Today Television. There's a lot that's happening on the other side of this break. Have a nice day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Business Today Television. On Market Today, we bring to you the latest that's happening in the market as of now. Well, the mood is buoyant and it's